Hey guys, what's up? It's SUPERFUJI here, and I am here with some Summoner's War. Now, I've been considering doing this for a little while because this is a game I've been playing for quite a while, for the better part of a year. Well, kind of about a year now, and with a little bit of leeway time here and there, I didn't really get too deep into the game itself and the mechanics of it until some of my friends actually started playing. And so it's really, I've only been deep into it for, I don't know, 7 or 8 months, I guess that's so. But yeah, I'm not going to claim to be a pro at this game or elite or whatever. I just play it for fun. It's something that me and my friends can do together and talk about. We have a guild and all that stuff. So, yeah. But for those of you who don't know what Summoner's War is, well, first of all, I'd like to apologize because I may not do a great job explaining this video. And this is going to be kind of laggy because this is a mobile game. So this is also my first mobile game that I'm talking about or doing anything about on my channel. Uh, but Summoner's War is basically you have to collect your monsters, make them strong. It's kind of like Pokemon, but you don't go around the world hunting down the monsters and things like that. Um, Basically, you get your monsters through scrolls. Um, the better the type of scroll, the better chance you get to get a higher monster. It goes anywhere from a tier of 1 star to 5 star that you can actually summon, and you can get your monsters up to level 40 and 6 starred and awaken. A fine example would be this guy right here. My only 6 star, my only level 40. I know I should have more by this point in the game, but, well, I just don't because, like I said, I never said I'm good at this. But there is quite the collection of different monsters here in several different varieties. We have our fire. Now, in this game, you've got pretty much all the same creatures, just in different flavors. But they each all tend to do something different. Let's start out with a prime example here of, again, some of my surprisingly favorite. At first, when I first started playing, I didn't think they were anything special. But then I learned more about them and kind of fell in love with all of them a little bit. There's some that I like more than others, obviously, but I've collected all 5 of them, and that is the Hellhounds. Meet my favorite, Gamir. Gamir is obviously an attack type. His attack is at level 30 or at level 25. Which Awaken level 25, 3 star and all that. So, kind of low really, but still. His attack is 314, not bad. His speed is 113, also not bad. That's actually pretty good for something that you don't put any speed runes on, really. Its abilities are bite your enemy, and recover 30% of the inflicted damage as HP. So nice to have. Double attack, bite your enemy continuously to inflict great damage, so he bites twice and does more damage. And his passive, Enrage. The lower your HP, the higher your attack power will be. It's an automatic effect. So, the less health he has, the more damage he does. And I'll get into what kind of runes you should pair him with later, or at least what runes I've paired him with. I'm not going to say that my way is always the best way. It's just the way that I would do it. And I made a little mistake. Let's see here. Right. But yeah, so we have Gamir, the wind one. Then we have Seek, the fire one. I believe all of them are attack based, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, so all these guys are attack based. Seek, you have bite, same thing as the other. Double attack, same thing as Gamir there again. But this one is begin hunt. This one isn't a passive. This one, let's see, increases the attack power and critical rate of all allies for 3 turns, reusable in 5 turns. There are cooldowns on most abilities except for passives. But Seek here, he's more of a utility and attacker. He can do a lot of damage, but he can also increase how much damage that your other allies do. It's an allied AoE, so it hits everybody. on your team, and he can also increase their critical rate so they have a better chance of landing a critical attack and doing even more damage and things like that. Whereas you have Tark, who has Bite, same as usual. And then Ambush. Attacks the enemy and increases your attack speed for 2 turns. Damage increases according to your attack speed. So when it says your attack speed, it means Tark's attack speed. So his attack speed goes up for 2 turns. And then that allows him to do more damage. The only thing is you have to make sure that he can, be able to do this quick enough too. And I'll go into ways that you can build your monsters in a later time. I don't know if I'll get to it in this video or in another. We'll find out. Anyway, then we have Group Hunt. Perform a fierce cooperative attack with 2 fellow allies, which means that Tark and 2 other allies on your team will attack the same creature at the same time with their most basic attack. So Tark here, while he's technically using this ability, will use his basic bite attack, which will allow him to regain a little bit of health. And it'll allow the other 2 creatures to do their basic attacks too. Now, if you're in a dungeon if you're in a dungeon, it'll just randomize between the 2. In guild battles, you only have 3 creatures. In dungeons, you only have 5. And in arenas, you only have 4 creatures to work with. So it'll choose randomly from those creatures which other 2 get to attack. Let's see here. The light one has Bite, same as usual. Double attack, same as usual. And Clash. Attacks and stuns the enemy for 1 turn and reduces their attack speed for 2 turns. So it makes the other enemy have a slower build for their attack gauge and causes them to, do things a little bit slower overall, which is fairly handy. Then we have the dark one who has Bite, who has Ambush like the water one. So his attack speed is important. And then we have Spurt, a passive. Increases the attack speed by 15. The attack speed increases as the HP decreases. So he's another one that the more damage that's done to him, the more his attack speed increases, which in this case, when he uses Ambush, the more damage he does with that. So he's all in all pretty good too. And as you can see, their speed, all their speed is pretty close to each other overall. But that's just some examples of differences between creatures as they have differences between elements. Let's see here. But that's, that's a basic idea on that. Let's see, what should we do next? Sorry, I haven't really completely thought out how I want to do this. Here, let's talk stats. Stats and runes. So, for those of you that are new to the game, you won't understand you probably basically understand the stats. If you've played any other games like this, you'll understand the stats. You get your basic HP, attack, defense, and your speed. Excuse me. Speed indicates, how often your attack gauge will build up, or how fast it'll build up, or how much it'll build up between each character's turn, more or less. And so the higher that is, the faster your bar builds up, and the more often you will get to actually attack with said creature. Crit rate isn't obvious. I know Gamir's is a little low, but for some reason he still crits quite a bit. His crit damage is decent, but not great. His resistance is kind of low, but I don't worry about it too much with him. And his accuracy is pretty low, but he doesn't actually need it. Because he doesn't do any debuffs like stun or anything like that. So that's, the basics of the stats. Accuracy is for being able to put a debuff on someone a lot easier. Resistance is to keep those debuffs off of that specific character a lot easier. Damn, excuse me. Anyway. So here's one of the more important parts, the runes. There are several different options of runes here that you can choose from, and usually it's a good idea to set specific ones. And let's go into a little bit of information about the runes here real quick. There's the 2 sets and then there's the 4 sets. As you can see, I have 2 of these energy runes and then 4 of these vampire runes. I always call them vampiric, but they're vampire runes. Energy, its bonus is if you have a set of 2 in a creature, on a creature, however you want to describe it, I don't know, you gain a plus 15 HP % bonus. So that goes into their health, which is good. Now the different runes can have different stats on them. The 1, 3, and 5 slots will always be the same main stat of HP for 5, defense for 3, and flat attack for 1. The substats are always changing. Like, he has accuracy on these. These are decent substats. This rune started out as a basic 6-star white rune, so his substats aren't the greatest. Accuracy isn't needed for him, but the other substats were okay enough to put on there. This is the best I could do for a 6-star rune for him for the time being. The vampire runes, let's go and find those real quick here. The vampire runes, where the hell are they? Ah, here they are. Okay, the vampire runes, when you have a set of 4, give a life drain plus 35%. So whatever damage you do, you'll get 35% of that back as HP, which is pretty nice actually. Which is why, now this is one of those tactical decisions, in that we have Gamir here, who's, as we showed, his passive ability, the lower your HP, the higher your attack power will be, so the more attack he does with the vampire runes, the more health he gains back, which makes him fairly formidable, despite the fact that he only starts as a 2-star when you first get him. So, and like I said, there's quite a different variety of runes. The vampire and the energy we've covered. Rage increases your crit damage by 40%. It is a 4 set, as you can see, and it'll tell you these things here. So Rage is a 4 set. Let's go with Focus. Focus is a 2 set that increases your accuracy by 20%. So those are nice to have on, say, this guy, whose a lot of his abilities are based around. Actually, I don't have mine. Oh no, I know why. But anyway, his abilities are based around debuffs, but he has a naturally higher accuracy. Could probably do for a bit better. So, but that's where the substats come in handy. But I don't have the greatest of runes on him right now. Sometimes it's a take what you can get situation. So, and I haven't had him for very long, and I don't have the greatest of runes on him, but I'm working on it. But let's see. There's ways to increase, resistance. So an endure set is a plus 20%, and I should mention that you can stack 2 sets. So if you added 3 full sets of energy runes, then their HP will increase by generally that much, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure this guy, yeah, he is one of my secondary healers for some things. Talc, he is set with full energy, so he gets, again, not the greatest because I don't use him too often, but his HP is up there for his level especially. So that's a nice little bonus there. I think that pretty much, let's see, let's find someone who needs a power-up. You look like you might be able to use a power-up for some runes. Let's see. Yeah, see, I've got speed on him so he can go faster. These are violent. See, it's Fourth hit gives an extra turn by a 22% chance. If I'm not mistaken, I think that chance goes down for each extra turn that they get, but sometimes you can have a creature with a violent rune go up to, I've seen up to like 3 or 4 times in a row before they finally stop. Put on the right creature, that can be exceedingly damning to some things. So it's a nice set to have for the right creature. But yes, let's see. Like in this case, I have Violent on my main healer, Delphoy, who is a Wind Undine. She's set for energy. I have her with attack percent because I don't have a good HP percent rune there. In these cases, in these slots, if you want to build something like this Undine, you want HP percent in these slots instead of flat HP that you would get normally from this. This is kind of a nice rune for her. I could do without the attack and the crit damage, but having a little bit of extra speed is nice, and having her HP up that high on there is pretty nice. And all around, she lasts for a while, and with the violent runes, she has a chance to, say, even if she's used her basic skill here, she could attack, and then still have a chance to heal again. So that can be quite the bonus at times. But enough about that. Let's see here. We got some other basic things. You'll eventually want to get to the magic shop because it can be a nice way of being able to get scrolls and things like that. You can buy one of the higher tier, the mystical scrolls from in here. You can buy some minor creatures like little silver 1-stars to some average gold 2-stars that you'll be able to get, and sometimes you might need for one thing or another. You can usually find a lot of the hellhounds in it, like the water, wind, and fire, the basics. Light and dark creatures are a little harder to get because you have to have specific scrolls to summon them or find specific secret dungeons, which I'll go into later. But yeah. That's actually one really important thing that I should show off real quick. For all the creatures, there is their skills, which we've gone over, and there is ways to increase their skills. Now, the easiest way, especially for lower starred creatures like Gamir or Tark here, who are initially started out in the game as 2-stars, or even their dark 3-star counterpart, what you can do is you feed so this is a hellhound. You feed other hellhounds to this hellhound, and that will give them, for every one you feed them, it gives them a skill up, and if they have room for more XP, they'll also gain some XP off of it as well. So if I wanted to get this level 2 damage to plus 5%, I would have fed one of these guys to this guy to be able to get him to get to that level 2. So some of these lower level creatures like the hellhounds are easy to max out in all their skills. I have all 5, and I have all 5 of them maxed out in their skills. Some other creatures like this light succubus is a little bit more difficult to get because succubus you don't get every day. You have to get them from mystical or legendary scrolls. And the good thing is it doesn't specifically need to be a light succubus to feed a light succubus. It can be any of the other elements to be able to do so. So I do have a fire one that I got from a different means that I just level 30'd. See if I can find her real quick here. She's not awakened. But if I fed her to my light succubus, it would give my succubus a point, randomly, mind you, in one of her skills. And then that skill would go up a level. So that's how you do that. However, there is another way, and sometimes you can get these through events or things like that, but you usually get them more often than not through the glory shop, and they're what's called a Devilmon. A Devilmon you can feed to any creature you wish, and they'll basically do what feeding the same type of creature to another creature will do. They will give a random skill up. So only feed these to things that don't have their skill abilities maxed out. But you can get one once a week for 180 glory points in the glory shop, and you get glory points by going to the arena, which we will get to in just a second. And again, sorry, this is probably a little, okay, not a little, probably very on the laggy side to a degree. I'm going to see about getting a different recording program for this and see where it goes. But yeah, anyway, you can also get some things from making your daily wish. This you'll get pretty early on as the general story for the game progresses, that you start with kind of through the tutorial and all that. As you can see, sometimes you'll get money, sometimes you'll get these little creatures, which are called Angelmon. The Angelmon are used usually just for increasing XP on a creature. This, you can get another creature. This is your energy. These are a secondary kind of currency that you can get here that you can do other shopping with. My recommendation is once you get enough, go to the special shop and either buy the basic 225 or save up for the 750 summoning packs so that you can get the mystical scrolls, which give you a chance of, at the very least, you'll get a 3-star to a chance of maybe, if you're lucky, you'll get a 5-star. Now, I've been playing this off and on for roughly a year, and I have never gotten a 5-star. They are difficult. So, anyway, this is part of the arena. This is your general defense tower. You set up a arena defense. I have mine set weak on purpose so that people will come and attack me more often. That way I still gain 1 or 2 glory points along the way when they do that, and it gives me a list of people as well, if I go into my battle log here, that have attacked me that I could attack back. As you can see, a lot of them are a higher level, but there's a lot of people that do the same kind of thing I do, and have, just minor creatures, or in this case, a higher creature, but only one. So let's see if we can show a little bit of actual battle, and we can show, I don't want to have her in here, I want her in there, and we can show how the battle system works a little bit. That there is the water Undine McKenna, but I have 2 of her, but I'm using her for something else that we'll get to in probably another video. Now for actual battle. Over here we have our options. These become a little bit more important in dungeons, I'd say, but on this you can see what kind of buffs you automatically have on you. Here's the speed buff that I get from my Fire Amazon down here in the left, Ceres. These are 2 different things that I have sitting on my islands that give me a little bit of bonus, so I get a plus 2% to crit damage, and I get a plus 2% to attack, which is nice. Over here we have the speed option, which is really nice to have, because otherwise it would go, things would move kind of on the slow side. Now obviously it's a little laggy, so it already seems slow enough, but it can be pretty slow. Uh-oh, he's fighting back. Ooh, see? That's dangerous. We got the times 2 and times 3, which is nice. Then we've got this, which I don't want to hit right now, but it's a autoplay, and it'll pretty much run the AI to automatically fight for you. The downside is the AI doesn't always use the best of tactics. Now, there is a difference between the different elements, like fire is weak to water, wind is weak to fire, water is weak to wind. Wait, okay, hold on. Let me make sure I said that right. Fire is weak to water, wind is weak to fire, and water is weak to wind. Yeah, okay, got it. Light and dark are weak to each other, but they're generally, as you can see here, like this would be neutral to pretty much everything else. So, but for the most part, if you build certain creatures in a right way, like Gamir here is built, right here, he can actually hold his own against quite a few fire creatures. Now, let's see. Let's talk debuffs real quick here. The debuff with the skulls means that they're going to take damage over time. So when it's his turn again, he's going to take a little bit of extra damage for that. This one here, the broken shield, obviously means that his defense has been broken. The broken cross here is that he can't be properly healed unless you have a creature like my Undine here, Delphoy, who can, in fact, remove all these debuffs from everybody, heal them by 20%, I think. Let's see here. Spirit's Blessing removes all harmful effects on all allies, also granting immunity for 2 turns, and recovering 20% of their HP. So, on top of removing the debuffs, healing them up, she can also give them this buff here, immunity, which means that debuffs can't be put on them unless that immunity is broken by, say, someone like Orion here who has an ability to remove the buffs from allies, or removes the buffs from enemies, I should say. Now that's unfortunate. Our healer just got taken out, but luckily we've got Gamir on our side, who is a hell of a hitter, and Ceres here, who is a hell of a hitter too. Though if she gets hit, she's kind of fucked. She will get hurt. She is a squishy. But as you can see, we took him out. We win! Yay! Boom! And we gain some more glory points along the way, and our overall arena ranking goes up. Now, we're the type that doesn't care so much about the arena rankings because, let's face it, like I said, we're not the greatest at this. We're not going to be top tier people or anything like that. So I'm not going to be one of those guys that really worries about it because I don't want to fret over it too much. But I at least like to get glory points when I can so that I can actually get, the Devilmons and things like that. So let's go into another battle here. Let's see. Oh, these guys. I think I walloped them the other day, or last night I think it was. Let's see, this one we're going to want, and it's a good idea to, switch things up a bit. Let's talk leader skills real quick. So, Arya here has a leader skill. Increases the HP of ally monsters in the arena by 33%. This is the arena that we're in now, technically, even though we're just going after people who broke our defense, which is fine, we wanted that anyway. So this is the arena, and so specifically in the arena, she has a 33% HP bonus to our entire team. So Gamir's health goes up, Orion's health goes up, Delphoy's health goes up, and Arya's health goes up. Whereas our friend Ceres here, her skill is what we would call a global skill, increases the attack speed of ally monsters by 13%. So she can use that in anything, dungeons, arena, guild battles, so on and so forth. Let's look at, I think it's Jamie here. His is the critical rate of ally monsters increased by 16% in guild battles, so he's more effective in guild battles with his leadership skill. It increases the critical rate, wasn't it? Yeah, it increases the critical rate of all allies. So, leadership skills are important. Let's look at this guy here. His increases the attack power of ally monsters by 33%. So that means that overall, all these guys are going to hit harder. And these buffs stay even when the monster that gives the buff is removed. Like Delphoy here has one that's a overall, but it specifically only increases the defense of anything with the wind attribute by 40%. Where Orion has one that increases the defense of all ally monsters by 20%. So if you had a full wind team, then Delphoy as the leader would be pretty solid. But as an overall team, if you want defense higher, then you're going to want to put someone like Orion into play. If you want HP to be a thing, then you want to put someone like Arya into play, but only in the arena. There's other creatures. It varies from creature to creature. There's the Barbarian King. The water one, I think, has increases the HP percent overall in anywhere, I think it is, but I can't remember sure. But we'll look at that later. Let's see if we can take this one on, because this will be a little bit more of a difficult battle, I think, to a degree. Now, this Sea Emperor is a natural 5-star. I think the Hell Lady is too, but I can't remember. This is a natural 3-star, and this is a natural 2-star. But they're all at least level 34, 35 roughly, so they're pretty much up there. Now a lot of creatures have interesting abilities. This little bear here, Ramagos, he's got the ability that if he takes a lot of damage, the more damage he takes, the more damage he's going to do, because he builds that damage up. So even if he gets healed, he's still building that damage up so that he can use one ability called Clean Shot, which can pretty much eradicate any one opponent at a time. But then he has to rebuild all the damage back up again. So in this situation where I'm using some AoE attackers, it's usually not the best course of action, but sometimes you've got to take the risk to be able to take out certain creatures. You need to use certain debuffs and things like that so that you can hit them a certain way, so that it'll be inevitably easier to be able to take out something like Ramagos in the end as well. And sometimes using something like Delphoi's immunity heal here is a nice thing to do as a preemptive thing, considering I have her set to violent and her cooldown for her healing has gone up because I fed her a Devilmon and it gave me just the thing that I needed. It's a good thing to have because it's a good thing to have the immunity overall, because it can just be really handy, because I don't know if these guys can do debuffs that will actually hurt my team. So, like, I don't need Gamir to be dizzied up. I don't need Orion to be dizzied up. Or Arya. Delphoi, I can afford it because she's got high enough HP that she can last. But the others, I can't really afford them to be taken out of the fight in any way, shape, or form, really. And here's the point where we start pinpointing a little bit more as well. We worked some of them down with some of the debuffs, so we were able to take out their healer in that Lady Nugami. We were able to take out one of their main damage dealers, and then we were able to take out the Sea Emperor, which I really don't know what he does. So now we've got to worry about this guy, who could be quite potentially the most dangerous one on the team, considering he could take out any one of my people in a single shot. So we've got to hope that just the right abilities hit. And debuffs like stunning him, that's definitely a good thing. Having the defense break on him is good. Let's see if we can... Nope, couldn't make him sleep, so that's unfortunate. But thanks to Orion's ability, Run, he can attack with his basic ability, which has a chance to stun because of his runes, and then he has a chance to be able to attack again, which gives his other abilities a chance to cool down another turn because they count as a turn for him. So then we get Harmless Prank, which allows us to stun him again, which means we can sit here and wallop on him just a little bit more, and just like that, we've won the battle. So, anyway, I think this video has probably gone on for probably a little too long at this point, but I was kind of getting excited and getting into it. I guess, depending on, I don't know, I think, no, you know what, forget depending on. I really enjoy this game. I'm really hoping to get it to where I can record it a little bit more appropriately. I'm sorry for the way that it looks right now, but this is the best I could do with being able to get OBS to work properly for it, because it's a little tricky, and I couldn't get any other method to work but this. So... sorry that the quality is not the greatest. This is just kind of how it has to be at the moment. Like I said, I'm hoping to get some other stuff that'll help me do this a little bit better, because I really would like to start getting into some of the mobile things as just a little side thing. I think it'd be really fun, and I think I'd really enjoy it, and I hope you guys would too. But in the meantime, yeah, if you enjoyed it, feel free to come back for more whenever I have another video up. There should be another one up soon. I want to try to do a lot of this, really with Summoner's War at least. Uh, but yeah, and just a quick bit, the reason why I kind of got into doing this was because there was another YouTuber who, whoops, who was nice enough, who does a Saturday morning summons series for this game, and was nice enough to take my request of doing a shout out when I got on his Saturday morning summons. Now, don't go flooding him with shout out requests. I was probably a little bit sneaky in the way I did it as I went through the process of making sure that even as a free to play player, I had enough mystical scrolls and a light dark scroll that he would actually put me on his little summoning series and be able to actually get me on there so that I could actually put my name out there. It was sneaky and probably not the best thing to do, but he was nice enough to do it anyway. But yeah, so don't flood his channel looking for shout outs and all that stuff. He doesn't do an actual shout out series or anything like that. I had to put a lot of work and effort into this game so that I could get to that point where I could get that shout out in the first place. So, because I had like 40 mystical scrolls and a light dark scroll and some summoning stones and all that stuff. So yeah, but I just wanted to thank him, even though it was a bit of a sneak in by me. I appreciate that he actually went through with the shout out for me. And thanks for anybody who came from his channel to come check me out. I really appreciate it too. And I hope you stuck around long enough to see that I'm actually doing some Summoner's Wars videos, because I actually had one person at least request it. So I decided, sure, I've been thinking about it anyway, why the hell not? So thanks again, guys, for joining me for yet another video and another long rambling session of mine. I really greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. And remember, stay weird, y'all. Bye.